Coming off a national title, and with the #1 ranking in the country, life is pretty good in Columbus.
The world-famous national champion, undefeated Ohio State Buckeyes.
Ohio State's been rolling. We got the perfect combination of power and precision. Man, the offense is a well-balanced attack. Through the air, on the ground, we can do it all.
Money on the rise. Jeremiah Smith.
Combined with a dominant defense playing at a historic level, this Buckeyes team is a force.
Today, it's been all Buckeyes.
Now we know what Penn State brings. Tough team, hard-nosed football. We respect them, but we don't fear them. 8 years ago, we had one of the greatest wins ever over Penn State. We came from 18 points down to win a thriller at the end.
Barrett looks, fires, touchdown Buckeyes!
Today, we renew our rivalry in the horseshoe, and everyone who wears scarlet and gray knows what's at stake. It's Ohio State and Penn State, a classic Big Ten showdown. Right now on Fox.
Delivery to kickoff, sponsored by Wendy's. Get your Wendy's faves delivered for game day. Back inside Ohio Stadium, Buckeye great JT Barrett setting the tone, led Ohio State to the Natty in 2014. That was their last until they won it all again last season. This year's Buckeyes are unbeaten, maybe better, as we welcome you back inside sold-out Ohio Stadium. Coach Urban Meyer not on the desk. He's up somewhere over our shoulder getting set to ring the victory bell. We'll bring that to you live. We're getting ready for kickoff down here. Penn State began the season #2 in the land. Nobody saw them sitting right now at 0-4 in Big Ten play.
No, it's shocking, honestly. I mean, no one thought a month ago this Penn State team would be in the position they are today. All that being said, though, this is still going to be a tough matchup for the Buckeyes. I mean, the talent is equated somewhat on the field in some ways. Now, they don't have their quarterback, Drew Aller, but Ethan Grunkmeyer, he grew up about 25 minutes from here.
Yeah.
Played at Nolan Tangent. You don't think he has something to prove in this game? And defensive coordinator Jim Knowles, this is one of the storylines we probably haven't talked about enough, quite honestly, today, is the familiarity with Ryan Day, Brian Hartline, the entire staff, the personnel. They will have a game plan to try to short this game, slow it down, eliminate some of the big plays. They've done a good job of that this season. It will be a challenge for Ohio State. This whole entire matchup, this line looks way too big for me for, I think, how these two teams square up.
They've blocked 4 kicks this year as well. You know they're going to try to steal some possessions and slow things down. Let's talk about the quarterback over on the Buckeye sideline. Matt, I'll start with you. Julian saying, not a lot of expectations. It was more like, hey, just manage the game. Get us through things. Now it's, that playbook is opening up for this young man.
Well, we saw week 1 against Texas where they kind of protected him, just go manage the game. You talked about it earlier in the show. He's been sensational, especially on deep throws as well. This will be an interesting one because of Jim Knowles and the pressure, and this is a really good defense. We still have yet to see Julian Sayin have to handle that pressure in that moment because they've been so good. Maybe it happens today, but this kid is a stud, man. He's the real deal.
Yeah, they call him J. Cool in these parts. Since the 1950s, after every home Buckeye win, they ring the victory bell. Now this year, a new tradition instituted. They ring it pregame, and our coach, Urban Meyer, is up there and has the honor today, and they're announcing it right now at Ohio Stadium. There he is, getting ready to ring the victory bell. Coach. Look at Shelly. Coach Meyer's wife, Shelly, the bell's still ringing. They ring it 9 times, 1 for each national title. Does this team have what it takes to ring that bell 10 times next season?
I feel like they do have what it takes, Stone. You talked about Julian Sayin. He's been terrific all season long, getting better and better. They have receivers on the outside, the #1 defense in numerous categories. But the thing to me is they haven't been tested yet. What do you do when you face some adversity, when you're behind in a football game? If you have to get some depth on the team. Well, also, in my heart of hearts, I believe you have to be able to run the football to win the national championship. And my one concern with this team is the running game. They need to continue to improve in the run game. So this team has what it takes. They still got some work to do.
Yeah, this 71st ranked rushing offense, and they haven't really been that good in Big Ten play. That's the one concern. I just talked about Julian Sayin. In the playoffs, you're going to have to, you're going to face some of the best defenses in the country. This team is built, though. Again, Brady, you talked about all year just the parity. Like, why not them? But anyone can win it this year.
Yes.
Buckeyes with a nation-best 11-game winning streak. 8 consecutive wins in this rivalry as Ryan Day and the Buckeyes emerge through the smoke. It is a blackout game here in Columbus, and the Buckeyes have been lights out. It's their 116th week as the #1 ranked team in the program, and they're in action next against Big Ten rival Penn State. For the call, Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt.
Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by AT&T Business. Connecting changes everything. From Ohio Stadium, also known as the Shoe, we get a chance today to see the #1 team in America as the undefeated national champion Ohio State Buckeyes take on the Penn State Nittany Lions. Hi everybody, I'm Gus Johnson along with my quarterback Joel Klatt. Welcome to Columbus. We start with the home team, folks. Ohio State, reigning national champions. Ohio State, #1 team in the country. Ohio State, undefeated. Ohio State with the best defense in America, and also a young quarterback that's starting to become pretty good.
Jay Cool, as
That's
they
right.
call him. That's right. I tell you, the best single thing any team in America does, Gus, is Ohio State playing defense. This defense, I tell you, it is a treat to watch. Led by some absolute dudes. Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles. Their coordinator, Matt Patricia, has them playing fast and physical, and it is a very smart defense that does a lot out there. Now, offensively, there's Jay Cool. Julian Sayin, he has rocketed up the Heisman odds to #3 right now in the Heisman odds, and he's done that behind some very intelligent play and a quick release and very accurate down the field. Nobody completes the ball better than Julian Sayin so far in college football. I can't wait to watch him play today.
As for Penn State, last year was magical. Different story this season. After a 3-game losing streak, they decided to replace their head coach, James Franklin. Then they lose their quarterback, Drew Aller, for the season to an injury. So Penn State comes into this game losers of 4 in a row. However, we talked to him yesterday, and you just get the feeling that the Nittany Lions are going to give everything, and I mean everything they got today.
This is still the same roster outside of Drew Aller that was ranked #2 in the country to start the season. They are a talented team, and now the interim coach, Terry Smith, he's charged with picking up those pieces left by James Franklin after his departure. And what he said is they've got to run the football, outrush Ohio State. Well, who does that fall on? Their 2 veteran backs, Katron Allen and Nick Singleton. Now, Singleton has not produced like he wants to this year. That has to change today. Meanwhile, Katron Allen, he's been fabulous. He's going to need to be featured today. And that run game needs to protect the defense. And that defense is led by former Buckeye coordinator Jim Knowles, back on the field today here at a place where he led the #1 defense in the country a year ago as the coordinator to that national championship. Nobody in this sport is going to have more institutional knowledge of Ohio State's offense, Ryan Day, that personnel, than Jim Knowles, and I can't wait to see what he has cooked up for the Buckeyes here today.
All right, time now to join the 3rd member of our team on the sideline. Let's go downstairs to the All-American girl, Jenny Tabb.
Ethan Grunkemeyer is an Ohio kid. He grew up 20 minutes from the Shoe, dreaming of playing here. Today, he's just doing it for the visiting team. Now, his love for the Buckeyes started at a young age. Both of his parents played college basketball. His mom, Megan, actually played basketball for the Buckeyes. And Ethan told me as an Ohio kid, he thought everyone grew up to play football for Ohio State. But the perfect fit for Grunkemeyer was Penn State. Why? Because of family. That's the feeling he got day one, and that feeling continues. It has been a whirlwind for Ethan after he took over for the injured Drew Aller after he suffered a season-ending injury. But it has been Drew that's been helping Ethan every step of the way. I had a chance to catch up with Drew before the game, and he shared this advice for Ethan. Embrace the opportunity and don't try to be Superman. So, Gus, how about that? 2 quarterbacks from the state of Ohio would love nothing more than to upset the Buckeyes today.
All right, Jen. A great opportunity. And the weather here in Columbus. It's like a summer day, folks, in the Midwest. Joel Clark's got heat warmers in his hands. I can't believe it. It's 50 degrees.
Hey, man, you know I'm soft.
All right, this is a series that dates back to 1912. A meeting at legendary Ohio Field here in Columbus. Ohio State leads it 25-14, and the Buckeyes have won 8 straight. Last time they met last season in State College, Ohio State won it 20-13. Buckeyes won the toss, deferred. Penn State will receive. Jaden Fielding will kick it away. Nick Singleton is back deep. Buckeyes, Nittany Lions, let's go from Columbus. And that will bring out Ethan Grunkemeyer from Lewis Center, Ohio, 21 minutes away from where we stand today. What a great opportunity for this kid.
And that's the way that he has to view it. You know, his opening 2 starts for Penn State at Iowa, a top 10 defense, on the road in Kinnick Stadium, and now here against the #1 defense in the country against Ohio State in the shoe. He needs to embrace it and go out there and do just as Drew Aller, the former starter, said. Don't try to be Superman. Just utilize the pieces around you. That's the best way to try to have success.
Making his second career start against the #1 team in the nation and the reigning national champions in his hometown. Man, who writes this stuff? First down and 10 of the 25, and they'll pitch it. Allen, and a big hoe. Katron Allen, and he'll get to midfield. That's the way you want to start if you're Penn State. A gain of 25. Offensively, let's take a look at the Nittany Lions.
Well, this offensive line is going to have to be great. And Uwanya, their normal left guard, is back after not playing against Iowa. That is a big deal for them. They feel like they're going to be able to run the football. That opening play is a great omen for them. And then those backs, Nick Singleton, Katron Allen, they're going to have to feature them all day long. Be physical, run right at this athletic defense.
First down and 10 of the 49. Empty backfield. Grunkemeyer, quick toss, out wide, caught. That's Ross, and he'll get it upfield, gain 5 yards. And let's take a look now at the Ohio State defense.
This is a rebuilt defensive line from a year ago. Caden Curry has been so productive up front. Linebackers, these are the best 2 in the country. Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese. Reese is playing at an All-American Buckus caliber level. And then there's Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs, probably the smartest defender in college football. The Swiss Army knife of defense. He plays all over the place, and his ability to stop the run is going to play a huge piece in today's game.
On second down and 4. And Penn State running it. Arvell Reese stops Katron Allen, tackles him for a loss of 2.
Quality play there up front. Arvell Reese constantly around the football. And then in these situations, Gus, 3rd and obvious, 3rd and 6, an obvious passing situation, although past the 50, you wonder how aggressive interim head coach Terry Smith will be. Will they go for it on 4th down if they get it to 4th and 2 or 4th and 3? We'll find out if this play call is a run.
3rd down and 6 at the 45. Twins on both sides of the field. And they'll run it. Looking for that first down. Katron Allen will not get it. He gains 3 on 3rd down and 6. So now a decision for Terry Smith as Kenyatta Jackson drops him.
And it looks like he'll send the punting unit on the field. They go with the analytics chart, and that chart is going to say something, Gus, like, hey, 4th and 2 is a go, 4th and 3 is a punt. They don't get it inside of that 4th and 2, and the punt team is on the field.
So Gabriel Wosu, the largest punter in college football, first year as the starting punter, sends it away. Ennis with the fair catch, 31 yards. So that brings on Julian Sand. Last time out, folks, he threw for almost 400 yards.
Yeah, they opened it up early in that game against Wisconsin, and now after the bye week, Sand is a guy that I think can just continue to get better throwing the football. 80% completion percentage, that leads college football. But I'm telling you, Gus, here's what I love about his game. His movement in the pocket. Watch his subtle movements all day long, getting him in position to throw the football, and he does so with great accuracy.
Sayin against Wisconsin, 36 of 42, 393, and 4 tugs. First down and 10 at the 11. Sayin, play action on first down, guns it over the middle, and he's got Carnell Tate. Tate gets up to the 30-yard line, first down, gain of 19. Offensively, the Buckeyes.
Well, this offensive line, everyone's been saying they got to run the football better. We see if they can do that today. And on the outside, these are the 2 best receivers in the sport, Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith.
First down at the 31. Bo Jackson in the backfield. They give it to him, and he gets tackled immediately. Keon Wiley, a loss of 4 defensively for Penn State.
Well, this defense, again, led by Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator, is going to have a really good idea of what Ohio State is trying to do all day long. What I think they have to do is get Denai Dennis Sutton going in the pass rush, number 33. He's their key. He's their best defender. And if he can get to Julian Sayin today, Penn State's going to have a great chance.
Second down and 14 at the 27-yard line. Opening series for the Buckeyes. Here's a handoff. Bo Jackson. And Bojack, nice cut. Picks up 9. Stopped by Wheatley.
Nice block right here from the tight end, right up on the middle linebacker. That's Amari Campbell, the linebacker, and Max Clare puts the block on him, and it's a big hole for Bo Jackson right there and produces a much more manageable third down.
His real name is Lamar, but his dad gave him a nickname, Bo. So his name is Bo Lamar Jackson. 2 incredible players. This kid's destined for greatness. Third down and 5 at the 36. Empty backfield for Sayin. Here's Sayin looking near side, back shoulder caught. Guess who? Jeremiah Smith, the best player in all of college football. A gain of 18.
How about that ball placement as well? This is a great route. Watch this. He's just going to work right up the field right here. One-on-one coverage. You're not going to win many of those against number 4. And the ball placement was brilliant. Julian Sayin, again, accuracy. Look at him take Jeremiah Smith to the back shoulder, and they pick up the third down conversion, first down.
50th catch of the year for Jeremiah Smith to go along with 7 touchdowns. First down and 10 at the 46. Sayin again to throw it. Now under pressure. Checks it down. And at the 40-yard line, Bennett Christian will go out of bounds. He gains 3. Pressure there by Dominic DeLuca.
Yeah, but Julian Sayin just steps away from it. And, you know, they call him Jay Cool. Well, that's the way he moves in the pocket. He just sidesteps away from Dom DeLuca and goes to his check down right away. Max Clare is a terrific tight end. Now, he gets lost in the shuffle because of those wide receivers, but as an outlet, he is always open for Julian Sayin when Sayin needs to manipulate the pocket.
Second down and 7 at the 43. The original Jay Cool was Joe Cool, Joe Montana underneath. And Jeremiah Smith picks up a first down on the slant. It's a gain of 10.
I guess they're just going to allow Jeremiah Smith to have single coverage, and if that's the case, he's just going to continue to take advantage. You see the safety way in the middle of the field, off coverage. That is an easy pitch and catch for a slant, and a first down again for the Buckeyes. Nobody has been better since he came to Columbus. This guy has been a one-man wrecking ball.
First down and 10 at the 33. Here's a handoff. Jackson. And Bo Jackson barreling forward. He gets 8. Ohio State having no problems moving the ball.
Well, listen, this is a fan base that is very particular, and they want their team to be perfect in every area. And if there's been one concern or question about Ohio State, it's been the run game. But so far today, Gus, they've run it pretty well.
Sayin off to a good start, 4 for 4, no surprise. 2nd and 2 at the 25. Out of the eye, Donaldson in there. Second man through, they give it to him. He picks up the first. C.J. Donaldson, the West Virginia transfer from Florida, gains 4.
And he's a bit of a bigger back, 6'2", 232 pounds, transferred in from West Virginia. He had run for a ton of yards at West Virginia. He played 27 games for the Mountaineers, ran for almost 1,700 yards. So an experienced player, and in those short yardage situations, he's done a nice job here this year for the Buckeyes.
9th play of the drive that started at the 11-yard line for Ohio State. 1st and 10 of the 21. They fake the pitch. Sayin drops it off. Near side, caught. Max Clare, the Purdue transfer, who's having a terrific season for Sayin. Safety valve, that's his 21st catch of the year, gain of 6.
You know, when Max Clare came here, you know, he was such a good player at Purdue. And he comes in here, you know, you think about what he did at Purdue, 73 catches, 881 yards. And again, he's at best, Gus, the third option here. And so he can get lost with the defense, and that's where you see on those little slip routes and check downs, he's always open.
2nd down and 4 at the 15. James Peoples in the backfield now for Ohio State. And they give it to C.J. Donaldson. Not a lot. Well defended. Kimaju coming up and making the tackle.
You know, and this is one thing that Ohio State has struggled with. There's been way too many missed blocks up front. They had 10 what I would call whiffs, Gus, just swing and miss up front against Wisconsin. And right there, a swing and a miss. And Ryan Day is stuck with a 3rd down.
Ryan Day, elite. Everybody in college football that has a head coaching opening, they're looking for the next Ryan Day. 3rd and 3 at the 14. Sayin underneath, cut. Jeremiah Smith, touchdown, Buckeyes. Uh-oh. We saw him week 1. Joel, I think the offense has finally caught up.
It sure has. How about throwing a little RPO? What does that mean? Well, if the safety comes down, Julian Sayin is just going to send this ball right out where that blitz vacated into the area that is wide open. You attack the space with the football. Just so happens you do it with Jeremiah Smith. He's again in a one-on-one. I'm surprised Penn State's been trying to go one-on-one with Smith.
Extra point up and good. Ohio State, 11 plays, covering 89 yards. They ran it. They threw it. They ate up 6-10, Sayin 6 for 6 on the drive. Bucks up 7-0. This connecting changes everything. And by Progressive. Progressive is helping veterans drive their lives forward with its Keys to Progress program. And time for today's game flow, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. We're at Ohio Stadium, which is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Some other stadiums listed: Soldier Field, LA Memorial Coliseum, Lambeau Field, the Yale Bowl, and Bobby Dodd Stadium at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech playing real well this year. Jeremiah Smith, he's playing pretty good too.
You think
he's pretty good?
He's so good.
Think so?
Oh my goodness. I mean, look at that, 24 games played, 25 touchdowns. I mean, again, like if they're going to single cover him, it is going to be a field day for number 4.
So Penn State ready to come back on the field offensively. They got to face this tough Ohio State defense, the best defense in America. Play the Fox Super 6 College Football Challenge. Download the Fox Sports app right now and enter for a free shot to win your share of 5,000 big ones in cash prizes. See the Fox Sports app for details. 7-0, Ohio State. 6:15 to play here in the first quarter. Young Ethan Gruckemeyer, a freshman from Columbus, leading the Nittany Lions. 1st down and 10 at the 25. Gruckemeyer hands it off. Katron Allen runs into a pile and gains a yard.
Let's take a look at our reliable performer, sponsored by AT&T Business. Reliability that you can count on, and Buckeyes fans have been able to count on Arvell Reese this year. 42 tackles, 5.5 sacks. This guy has been incredible. And Gus, you know, he was a revelation in that Texas game, flying around the field. He is playing at an elite level. When I talk with scouts before the game, they just marvel at his speed, his size, and also his ability to recognize what's going on the field. He is one of the best defenders in all of college football.
6'4", 243, runs a 4.5. Here's a handoff to Allen. Katron Allen bulldozes his way forward. And he gets 6.
Well, I tell you, they desperately need to string a drive together here and keep this offense on the field. After Ohio State was able to go right down the field offensively, this is part of the game plan for Terry Smith, the interim coach here at Penn State, is trying to keep his defense off the field. Well, in order to do that, you need to sustain drives and convert on third down.
3rd down and 3 at the 32-yard line. Allen remains in the game. Grunkemeyer off his back foot, under pressure, and he just has to get it away. But he had red jerseys chasing him, most notably Arvell Reese, Taiwan Malone as well.
Well, here's Reese right here, and you're going to see this pressure. He looks like he's lined up in coverage, and then he's going to come on a rush around the edge, and he just outrushes Drew Shelton, the tackle, just beats him with speed, doesn't run past the quarterback, and then chases him down.
So Penn State punting it away. Brandon Ennis is the deep man. And he fields it at the 25. 43 yards. Jay Cool ready to come back on the field. Julian Sayin off to a perfect start. Of the rivalry, sponsored by Venmo. This season, score more with Venmo. The last time Penn State beat Ohio State was in 2016. It was Penn State's last win versus an AP top 5 team. Ohio State has won the last 8 matchups, 4 by just 1 score, including last year, which was capped off with one of the Buckeyes' signature goal line stands. 1st down and 10 to the 25 for Ryan Day's offense. Here's a handoff. Isaiah West, freshman from Philly, gains a yard. Let's go downstairs to Jen.
And after that last touchdown from Jeremiah Smith, I noticed Penn State co-defensive coordinator and safeties coach Anthony Poindexter pulling the group together with some animated words. You got to double him. You got to double him. Do whatever it takes against him.
Jenny, I couldn't agree more. I was shocked on the first series with everything that Jim Knowles knows about Jeremiah Smith and this offense. Listen, when he's single covered, he's getting the football. That's exactly what Ohio State wants to see.
Here's Sayin under pressure, lets it go, incomplete. And a flag on the play. Zane Durant with pressure on Sayin. Brandon Ennis, the target. Zion Tracy in coverage.
You know what's shocking? This is about to be the very first pass interference call against a defense playing against Ohio State. With all these great wide receivers, you would think there would be more. There's also a flag in the backfield.
They're offsetting fouls in the play. Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense.
These are not offsetting. He's going to get that corrected.
Holding defense. The defensive holding penalty has been declined. The roughing the passer has been accepted. Automatic 1st down.
There you go. So Greg Blum there, not offsetting. So you had roughing the passer in the backfield, that hit on Julian Sayin. Then there was the hold on Brandon Ennis. That was Zane Durant who hit Julian Sayin.
Man, he clobbered him too. Wow.
They wanted to try to get to him, get some contact on the quarterback, affect his movement in the pocket. That one just a little bit late. And then now it's afforded Ohio State to get the ball up past the 40-yard line.
1st down and 10 at the 41. Isaiah West remains in the game at running back. Sayin over the middle and caught. Ennis. Brandon Ennis. Just a sensational talent, Ennis, but he's behind Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. He'll gain 29.
But I want you to see now the focus on Smith. Look at the safety, eyes all over Jeremiah Smith. What does that leave? The opposite seam wide open. And what does Tom Brady tell us in the commercial? When the safety goes away, rip the seam.
It's not that hard.
It's not that hard, he said. These coffee mugs free?
Yes, they are for you. 1st down and 10 at the 30. Sayin again, under pressure, lets it go and throws it out of bounds. Penn State bringing some heat. First incompletion of the day for Julian Sayin. Campbell Dennis Sutton with pressure.
Missed assignment up front. And again, this would just be one of the...
42 was in the area. Correction, number 17 was in the area. No foul.
So they're saying, Julian's saying, wasn't quite out of the tackle box. So therefore, in order to throw it away, he needed a receiver in the area. Carnell Tate was in the area over there on the right side. Therefore, it was not intentional grounding.
Makes it 2nd down and 10 at the 30. Empty backfield. Now they shift. West running left with a hole. And a 1st down. They're looking for an additional spark in the backfield. You get that feeling.
Yeah, and it's a couple of young guys with Bo Jackson and Isaiah West, both true freshmen. And they're trying to bring them along right now, in particular with an offensive line that's also trying to find their way. Nice job up front there, locking up. And look at Carnell Tate. This is what I love about watching Ohio State, because it's not just those big uglies up front that get after it in the run game. These wide receivers block about as well as anybody in the sport. That's a credit to their coach, Brian Hartline.
1st down and 10 of the 19. West again, trying to squeeze through the hole. He'll stumble forward, pick up a yard and a half maybe. And Durant defensively for the Nittany Lions.
You know, it's hard. It's so difficult to be elite at both running the football and throwing the football. Ohio State is elite throwing the football. Jim Knowles here, defensive coordinator for Penn State. Again, you know, he knows this offense inside and out. He was here with Ryan Day for the last 3 years as coordinator, but the institutional knowledge also goes the other way. You know, Ryan Day knows exactly what Jim Knowles is going to be trying to do.
Sayin swings it out wide to Ennis. He breaks a tackle, stays on his feet. Yards after the catch. And he'll get 7.
Ball out right away. Right in front of Ennis, allows him to turn up the field. Good strong run from Brandon Ennis, a captain here for Ohio State. Again, largely forgot about with Tate and Smith as the other wide receivers, but Ennis is a great worker. He's a great leader and a heck of a receiver in his own right.
Came into this game with 14 catches for 113 yards and a touchdown. 3rd down and 2 at the 11. Sayin straight ahead, Donaldson, 1st down, Bucks.
This is good movement on this left side of the offensive line. I think this is the group right here. When you're looking at this offensive line, Luke Montgomery and Carson Hinsman, they're probably the best 2 guys. Sareveld has done a nice job as well on that left tackle spot, 67. The left side of the offensive line has been a strength for Ohio State. When they really need it in the run game, that's the direction they go.
Luke Montgomery, number 51, had a chance to learn with Donovan Jackson last year when Jackson moved to left tackle. 1st down and goal at the 6. And Donaldson. And that may take us to the end of the quarter.
Seeing a little bit of this more methodical style from Ryan Day, and I'll get into that as the game goes along, but not a quick tempo offense. They're fine in a limited possession game. They feel like it gives them an opportunity to keep their defense off the field, and you're seeing that style play out on this series.
End of the 1st quarter with the score. Ohio State 7. Penn State nothing. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by AT&T Business. Connecting changes everything. Ohio State 142 yards of total offense in the 1st quarter. They held the ball for 11 minutes, lead it 7-0. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, Jenny Taft, Mike Pereira. Look, that's legendary running back Maurice Clarett with Quinshon Judkins, who was a national champion last year running back with these Buckeyes, off to a great start in his career with the Cleveland Browns. 2nd and goal at the 7. Sayin looking, Sayin underneath, caught inside the 5 by Carnell Tate. A gain of 3. Campbell with the tackle.
Penn State desperately needs a stop here. A two-possession game with a backup quarterback and Ethan Grunkemeyer is just not a position that they're going to feel comfortable in. And really anybody is going to feel comfortable in this building against this defense. This is a must-stop for Penn State right here.
3rd down and goal at the 4. Jeremiah Smith, the receiver, at the bottom of your screen. Sayin looks that way. In trouble. Just flings it in. Knocked down by DeLuca. Well done by the Penn State defense. And that'll force a field goal attempt for Ohio State. Dennis Sutton with pressure.
I tell you, this is a great rush right in the middle of this offensive line right here. Watch this spin move. That's a brilliant spin move by just a true freshman. That's Chaz Coleman with the pressure right in Sayin's face. And because it was so quick, he didn't have time to slide away. Sutton is there as well, Gus, like you said. And he's got to get rid of the football. And Penn State gets exactly what they desperately needed, which is the field goal unit on the field for Ohio State.
Chaz Coleman from Warren, Ohio. Fielding comes in from 22 yards. And it's good. Start of the second quarter. Ohio State up 10-zip. Futures for nearly 160 years.
Pacific Life Game Summary, sponsored by Pacific Life, building confident futures for nearly 160 years. And so far through one has been all Ohio State. They're up 10-0. Offense for Penn State hasn't done much, only 40 total yards in only 4 minutes time of possession. Meanwhile, Julian Sayin has come out and continued to be efficient as he has all year. 9 of 11, 110 and a touchdown. And how about Jeremiah Smith? That first series alone, Gus, 3 catches, almost 50 yards and a touch.
So Nick Singleton ready to receive the kick. Fielding will let it fly. And a line drive into the end zone for a touchback. Now, Ohio State's defense has welcomed its opponents to a house of horrors this season, allowing only 41 points through 7 games, the fewest by any team since 1993. They're the only team to not allow a touchdown in the first half. And, oh, you're in the red zone? Well, good luck scoring.
It's a beauty to watch, I got to tell you, because Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator, has brought an NFL style of defense. This is not a college defense. This is the New England Patriots defense that they run schematically.
First down and 10 of the 25, near side throw, Ross, and he's dropped immediately by Caleb Downs. Let's check in with JT.
Well, there's a little bit of Halloween spirit that's been happening with the Buckeyes. And, you know, you think this guy, Kenyatta Jackson, a bit scary on the edge. How about him
Holy
dressed up
Chicago.
for Halloween? The famous Mike Myers from Halloween. Now, he would not take the mask off. I finally convinced him. I'm like, please show me who you are. He said, I've been walking around scaring people. I got Coach Johnson. I got Coach Mick. Fortunately, Jeremiah Smith didn't fall for it, but he drove himself to buy that costume, and he was loving it yesterday.
Trust me, the real Michael Myers was not 6'6", 265, walking around with a butcher's knife. Come on, Katron Allen.
So, wait, so he drives to the, I would assume, the costume store, and he's like, yeah, do you have the Mike Myers in 6'6"?
Right.
They're like, wait, no one's ever asked for that.
Yeah. So that makes it 3rd down for Penn State. They need 9 yards. Listen to this crowd. Here comes a blitz. Grunkemeyer underneath. Nice toss. Devontae Ross ran a great route, and it's a first down for the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, beautiful concept here on the right side for Penn State, trying to get Devontae Ross open. So what they do is they clear out in front of Ross and then allow him to come behind those vacated routes. Some contact there, but in the route structure, that's not going to be called. And it's a good ball from Ethan Grunkemeyer. That's a big first down. We have not seen Penn State throw the ball very efficiently this year. And these wide receivers were brought in, all three of them as transfers. Devontae Ross comes in from Troy, Trevor Pena from Syracuse, and they need more out of these guys.
Ruckemeyer with time. That one thrown slightly behind Kyron Hudson, and he was open.
And Hudson came in from USC, and you're right, he was open there. And Ruckemeyer just needs to calm down here and allow his feet to take him to the throw. He rushed that ball, and it's behind Hudson. Leads to a second down.
What's going through his mind right now?
Everything. I'm telling you, Gus, this is so difficult because just the recognition of what's going on defense is a lot to handle. Plus, he's trying to orchestrate this offense as just a second-time starter.
Second down and 10, in trouble, drops it off. Singleton, nice catch in space, and that's where they want to get Nick Singleton. As he gets to midfield, Kenyatta Jackson with pressure. Ruckemeyer, nice job getting rid of that ball.
Yeah, and I really love this call from offensive coordinator Andy Kotelnicki. Allow that aggressive rush to come up the field and then get Singleton the ball out in space.
That's a gain of 16. Singleton now straight ahead.
It's been so interesting. Nick Singleton is such a talented guy, and Gus, his production hasn't been there this year. And people wondering, well, what's wrong with Nick Singleton? You look at what he's done the course of his career, and this year his numbers are way down. Rushing yards per game, under 40 yards, only rushing it for 3.6 a clip. But part of that is that they need him to get the ball in specific spots on the field and get him more in space where he can utilize that athleticism like they did on that screen pass.
Second down and 5 of the 44. Here's the pitch. Allen gets outside, cuts it in, and Katron Allen needed 5 yards. He gets a first down as he gains 7.
This is the exact formation they used on the very first snap of the game. An extra offensive lineman in the game, and they're able to run that toss sweep around that left side. That's certainly a game plan that I would try to stick with if I was Andy Kotelnicki. You've got to keep this defense off balance. Run inside, get on the outside, try to get those screen passes, and then the short completions for Ruckemeyer.
Penn State moving the football now at the 37. They're going to throw it. Clifford looking. Clifford, and he'll gun it in the direction of Hudson. Ohio State not fooled by the trickery.
Well, Liam Clifford is a guy that is really their fourth wide receiver, but of course his brother was Sean Clifford, so he's got a little bit of a quarterback background, and they thought that they could use him a little bit as a passer today and as a quarterback. I won't be surprised if he lines up at quarterback. It's one thing, though, you see Penn State and Andy Kotelnicki, and they can find some success, but at times they'll go to a gimmick too quickly. And they're moving the football and then go to a gimmick, and it's second and long.
Clifford in as the Wildcat quarterback on 2nd and 10. No gain on this play.
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You watch film of Penn State, and they'll have a series going, but then all of a sudden they try something that's a bit more of a gimmick. They try with Clifford on the outside, and then now it's a 3rd and long.
3rd down and 10. Ruckemeyer looking. First down, Penn State. Clifford found a soft spot, and on 3rd and 10, he gains 14. I like the way Ethan Ruckemeyer is settled down and is playing ball.
That's right, and there was very little pass rush. Ohio State only rushes 3. He's got time to survey the field. He gets all the way through those reads, and then finally sees the completion, and there's Liam Clifford to move the chains.
Ruckemeyer didn't have his best outing against Iowa. 15 of 28 for 93 yards. He threw 2 interceptions. 1st and 10 at the 24. Here's the handoff. Allen running around the right side, and he'll cut it up. Styles with the tackle, and it's a 2-yard gain.
I know this sounds crazy, but Penn State probably has a better chance to score from here than they do from inside the 10 against this Ohio State defense. One of the areas that you can attack this Ohio State defense is in the seams, right down the middle of the field. Watch one of these tight ends to your left and see if they can try to get somebody in the middle of the field down the seam.
11th play of the drive, and they'll run it. Singleton gets around the corner. Nice cut. And he'll go inside the Ohio State 10. That's a gain of 13.
Beautiful blocks on the outside. Missed tackle from Caleb Downs. And we've seen now Singleton get the ball in space a couple of times. And Gus, he looks like a different runner out in space so far. Certainly motivated. He knows that this is the film that these pro scouts are going to watch. And he knows he needs to turn it on here in the back half of the year.
First down and goal at the 9. You know Ohio State's great. Drew Aller watching, coaching. He's been present every day since his injury. Working with Ethan Grunkemeyer. And a timeout called by the Buckeyes. Ohio State defense flinching a bit. In last year's thriller versus Penn State, the Buckeyes had not one but 2 goal line stands. Drew Aller threw an interception at the end of the second quarter on the 1st and goal. And then in the 4th quarter, the Buckeyes stopped the Nittany Lions on 4 consecutive plays from inside the 3 to win the game. Let's see today. Got a different feeling with this Penn State squad right now. They're moving the ball. Their young quarterback, a freshman, Ethan Grunkemeyer from Columbus, has found his rhythm. First down and goal at the 9. The mathematician watches his defense. Allen in the backfield. They give it to him, and he's dragged down from behind. Will Smith, and it's a 1-yard gain.
You know, what's worked so far on this series for Penn State is getting on the perimeter. We saw it with the screen to Singleton. We saw it on the toss sweep, the little jet sweep. That's where they've been able to out-leverage this Ohio State defense and gain some yards. You wonder if they'll come back to that here inside the 10.
They've held the ball for almost 7 minutes. 14th play coming up. Singleton, the pistol back. Singleton straight ahead, and he'll get inside the Ohio State 5. Arvell Reese with the tackle. Is this 4-down territory?
You know, Terry Smith, I was talking with him on the field before the game, and he said, when we have an opportunity, we cannot settle for field goals. I got the sense talking to him that he was going to be aggressive on 4th down. You know, if that's the case, they would probably run it again here on 3rd down.
3rd down and goal at the 3. That offensive line for Penn State, they know that they have to play their best football of the season today. 3rd and goal at the 3. Singleton on the pitch. Singleton, touchdown, Nittany Lions.
Gus, they've come back to that play now 3 times. The very first snap of the game, they ran this toss sweep. Now they've got extra offensive linemen in again. Watch these guys get out on the outside. And Ohio State has not adjusted to that formation. It's an overload again with the 6th offensive lineman. And just like I said, when they go back to the toss sweep, they do it. And Singleton is into the end zone. The first touchdown Ohio State has given up in the first half all season long.
Nick Singleton with his 7th rushing touchdown of the year. Barker in for the extra point, and it's good. So how about this, folks? 6:18 to play in the first half. Penn State, wham, right in the chops. 10-7, Buckeyes. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by Ram Trucks. Nothing stops Ram. Tonight, folks, gosh, Game 7 of the World Series is on Fox. And it all comes down to this. As Ohtani and the defending champion Dodgers look to repeat, while Vlad Jr. and the Blue Jays fight for their first crown in 32 years. Coverage begins tonight at 7 Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Fox. I remember watching that Joe Carter home run for Toronto 32 years ago. Sean McDonough, my good friend and colleague, making the call. Singleton, 48 career touchdowns now. Is Ohtani going to pitch tonight?
I think he's probably going to start. Who knows how long he'll go on only 3 days rest. You kind of have to start him, though. if you don't start him and you use him as a reliever, you lose him as a DH. Weird rule thing, so that's why Ohtani's probably going to start. But we got a good one here.
Can't wait to watch that one, and we're enjoying watching this one. Good one, 10-7. Fox Sports proudly salutes our nation's veterans and the organizations that serve them every day. Our veterans deserve to live with dignity and independence, not on the streets. That is why we are making Camo our cause this Veterans Day in support of the Honor U.S. Vets campaign. To donate and learn how you can help end veteran homelessness, visit go.fox/US Vets. First down and 10 of the 25 for the Buckeyes. Play fake. Sayin with time. Dancing around. Drops it off near side. Incomplete. Brandon Ennis, the intended receiver. But I tell you what, Jim Knowles' defense is putting some pressure on Julian Sayin.
They're starting to win up front. This defensive line is. And they've got help over the top on Smith. They were trying to get a play action down the field, and that one just way behind Ennis. A rare, inaccurate throw from Julian Sayin.
Sayin 9 of 12, 110 yards and a touchdown. To Jeremiah Smith, second down and 10 of the 25. Tate, the receiver at the top of your screen. Ennis is in the slot up there. Smith at the bottom of your screen. They'll run it. Jackson. And he's tripped up by King Mack. The junior Alabama transfer, gain of 5.
You know, this is one of the things, you know, you get this run right through here and it's blocked perfectly well. And this is what they need from development out of their young backs, is the ability to make a secondary player miss. Only one guy available. If he makes a miss, he's off to the races.
Great opportunity for Penn State to get off the field right now. Third down and 5 at the 30. They've been getting good pressure on Julian Sayin. Sayin, empty backfield. Sayin in trouble. Sayin breaks a tackle, gets upfield, shows his legs, first down, Ohio State. A gain of 9. Dennis Sutton had him.
Sutton's going to come from this right side, and he just wins. I mean, great rush, but Sayin, just a subtle move, steps away from 2 Nittany Lions, tucks the ball away, and runs for a first.
First down. Underneath, it's caught. This time, Jeremiah Smith, and he'll pick up another first down.
You know, that has been the story for Penn State this year, is that they're in position to make a big play defensively, and they just can't get a stop. It happened time and time again against Oregon on 4th downs, again against UCLA with Nico Iamaleava scrambling around. It's one of the things that has really hurt this defense, is the opposing quarterback scrambling for first downs, and that's exactly what happened with Sayin on that last third.
First down and 10 to the 48-yard line. Jackson stretches it out. And he's ridden down to the 45 by Alonzo Ford Jr. They give him 3.
This part of the field, and Jim Knowles knows this, the defensive coordinator. Everybody knows this. Every coordinator says, hey, when this Ohio State team gets between the 40-yard lines, they love to take shots. And that's when they try to dial it up, get their wide receivers loose. Jim Knowles certainly is going to be aware of that. And right here, he's got safeties back. You wonder if they're going to double team Smith.
Second down and 7 at the 45. Sayin steps into his throw. Tate! Touchdown! Tater! 45 yards! What a season for this kid!
What a route. Watch, he's going to work up on the safety, and Zion Tracy just gets stuck inside. Tate takes off, ball just a hair underthrown, but I tell you, the contested catch this year always goes Tate's way. He has been remarkable on down the field passes, and again comes down with it for a touchdown.
7th receiving touchdown of the year for Carnell Tate. Extra point is good. 17-7.
Gus, all this was started back on that third down. Penn State had Julian saying dead to rights. Can't get him down. He scrambles for a first down. Ohio State gets a little bit of rhythm. And then sure enough, like I said, between the 40s, they're going to take a shot down the field. They do it with Carnell Tate. Again, he's been remarkable down the field. This guy is a star. He is a first-round talent. There's no doubt. What an amazing feature Tom Rinaldi did on his story with his mom.
Ashley, who's watching from heaven. He always, when he scores a touchdown, blows a kiss up to the sky to mommy, who's watching.
I mean, what a story, and I tell you, what a career he's putting together here. And Smith and Tate now 15 touchdowns combined. The only two wide receivers that have more this year are Surratt and Cooper at Indiana, and they've been remarkable on offense there with the Hoosiers. But I tell you what, man, Tate down the field has been such a threat this year.
3:41 to go here in the second quarter. And Penn State will run it. Corey Smith, and he gets stuck on special teams. Nice coverage. This time it's Peyton Pierce. Tomorrow on Fox, Justin Jefferson leads the Vikings in an AFC and an NFC North showdown against Jared Goff and the Lions, where the Jags take on the Raiders or other regional action. Check local listings for the game in your area tomorrow on Fox.
How your Lions doing?
We're doing great.
There we go.
Bounced back last week after the loss against Kansas City. Minnesota's going to have problems. First down and 10 at the 25. And a handoff to Katron Allen. Nice cut. Lowers his shoulder and gets 7, maybe 8 yards on the play. Matthews with the tackle. And they give him actually 9. Penn State with all 3 timeouts. 2nd and 1. Grunkemeyer. That one thrown a little short. Intended for Pena.
Timing just off there. Grunkemeyer was ready to throw. He did not have Pena out of his break yet. That's one of the things that pops up on film watching Penn State, is the quarterback and wide receivers are disconnected in their timing. It was a nice concept. The route is there. They need to shore up that timing.
3rd down and 1 at the 34. Allen looking for that first down, and he'll get it.
Boy, I love the way that they've come out and run the football with Katron Allen, Nick Singleton. You know, Andy Kotelnicki, the offensive coordinator, he told us that they've got to challenge this defense physically. And they've been able to do that so far. That last possession that they had, 15 plays, 75 yards, almost 8 minutes time of possession. And they did it running inside and outside. They're going to try that again here on this series. They're going to get to those toss sweeps, try to get the ball on the edge, in particular if they're trying to get the ball to Singleton.
First down and 10 at the 37. Allen. And he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Caden McDonald, man in the middle. 6'3", 326 with the stop. Approaching the 2-minute timeout. Grunkemeyer. On the move. Incomplete. Looking for Dinkins as tight end. That makes it 3rd down and 10.
Well, they were able to convert 2 different 3rd and longs on the last possession. Ohio State did not choose to blitz on that last series. And because of that, Grunkemeyer had a lot of time to throw. You wonder if Matt Patricia here is going to dial it up and try to speed up the quarterback with a heavier rush.
Watch number 8 at the bottom of your screen for Ohio State. That's Reese. Grunkemeyer on the move, and incomplete. Pena the target again. And the Nittany Lions will punt it away.
I tell you, they tried to go fast there, but because they played with such quick tempo, they left a ton of time on the clock. Ohio State still has 2 timeouts. They ran all those plays before the 2-minute timeout, so now Ohio State has basically 3 stoppages.
Wosu needs to really pin the Buckeyes deep in their own territory. Lets it go. He's 6'6", 300 pounds. And that one trickles into the end zone. 63-yard punt, a net of 43 yards. 2 minutes to play in the first half. 17-7, Ohio State with the lead and the football. Switch and save. Get more with Geico.
Back in Columbus, the Buckeyes have won 8 straight in the series. They're up 10 on Penn State. Did you just see that? Did you get that? Did you see that? Brady Quinn bumping right into me as I'm trying to tease the State Farm halftime report. Glad you're back here with us. Highlights between Vanderbilt and Texas Advantage. Arch Manning is number 10 Miami. Somebody's behind me. Yeah, number 10 Miami. They're on upset alert.
Get him, Mark.
And nobody's giving Houston enough love, but right now they're having some issues with West Virginia. Who's behind me? This guy. This guy. Go get low. Get low, Mark Ingram. Get low. Lower.
All right, Stoner. First down and 10 at the 20-yard line for the Buckeyes. And it's Donaldson. Great energy, great enthusiasm on our team. And look at this. Picked up. Do the Nittany Lions have it? Yes, they do. Coleman. The kid from Ohio.
As Donaldson is fighting for extra yardage. Watch, he's just going to be stripped right there. That was Amari Campbell, the middle linebacker, who was wrestling with him. That ball came out. And then there's Chaz Coleman for the recovery. I mean, that is a huge strip right here. Now, Penn State has a short field. They mismanaged that last series. They didn't have to play so quickly. They were giving Ohio State an opportunity to double up. Ohio State gets the kick to start the second half. Progress was not ruled stop. That won't save them. Ball's on the ground. Coleman recovers it, and the Nittany Lions are back on the field. What a sequence right there. And how about Amari Campbell with that strip?
So they're reviewing it right now.
He wasn't down, and I don't believe that they had ruled progress being stopped.
Bring in Mike Pereira. Mikey, rule books. What's the rule here?
Yeah, you know, we first looked at it, Gus, and we were thinking, no, it looks like it might be progress, but apparently they did not rule progress. So it's not that part of progress isn't reviewable. You could say if the ball came out immediately when he was first hit, then it could be, but I don't know what they could be looking at here unless they're concerned about the line to gain, which I don't think they are.
No, and he clearly wasn't down, no body part down. And that ball was coming out earlier than I think we even anticipated.
After review, the ruling of a fumble recovered by the defense is upheld. First down.
So it's Penn State football.
That is a huge sequence. I mean, a massive sequence here. And now Penn State has to take advantage.
First turnover of the game.
They've got to get back to the perimeter. Gus, that's where they've had all their success after Chaz Coleman recovers that fumble. This offense on the perimeter to Singleton, those toss sweeps, that's what's been working for them in the run game.
A frustrated Ryan Day. First down and 10 at the 13-yard line for the Nittany Lions with 3 timeouts left. Katron Allen, the pistol back, behind Ethan Grunkemeyer. Grunkemeyer gives it to Allen, and Allen hit as he gets to the line of scrimmage by Caleb Downs. No gain.
Downs just followed that motion in and came screaming through off the offense's left.
Downs, the IQ of the Ohio State defense. Second and 10 at the 13. Grunkemeyer to Allen, and he'll get inside the 10. Sonny Styles with the tackle. Gain of 4. Big third down and 6 coming up now.
Got to get the ball on the edge. can't attack them right down the middle, not from the 9-yard line.
Trips at the bottom of your screen. 3rd and 6 at the 9. And a timeout called by the Buckeyes.
Well, what a wild turn of events here, right here at the end of the half. Penn State.
And if you're a Penn State fan, you know what you say? Finally, we get a break.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It feels like every bounce this year has gone the opposite direction for Penn State. And now they get one to go their direction, but they've got to convert here. You know, settling for a field goal is going to feel like a win for this Ohio State defense. Most creative play call right here. You got to get somebody open. A pick play out on the outside. And Gruckemeyer has got to slow down in the pocket. He's been rushed. If he slows down and takes his time, he can be more accurate.
3rd down and 6 at the 9. Gruckemeyer sprints out. Shovel pass! Katron Allen down at the 1-yard line. Great call by Andy Kotelnicki.
And Penn State will take one of their 3 timeouts. They get the first down, knocking on the doorstep. You called it, partner. Beautiful play call. You're going to get Katron Allen right here, and he's just going to slip in here for the shovel pass as Gruckemeyer is going to extend the defense. Great block in there by TJ Shanahan, the right guard, who comes around. He secures the linebacker, Arvell Reese. Nice job in the middle by Drew Shelton as well. And Ryan Day had an advantage, had the ball at the 2-minute timeout, and it's slipping away here in the first half. Penn State with a great chance to get within 3 going in at halftime.
Terry Smith, their interim head coach, said, we don't have anything to lose. We are going to give them everything we've got. We know we're better than what our record indicates right now. He settled the team after the dismissal of Coach Franklin, who they all love. Still, 1st and goal at the 1. Allen, touchdown, Nittany Lions.
Great job over here by the right side. And then you've got Caleb Downs, who comes in, contacts Allen in the backfield, but you can see him reaching over the goal line with that ball. Contact happens about that 1-yard line, and then he just keeps fighting and is able to extend over the goal line for a Nittany Lion touchdown. What a sequence for Terry Smith and Penn State, and the confidence going in at halftime.
Superfly, that was his nickname when he was a wide receiver with Penn State. Ryan Barker in to attempt the extra point. And it's good. So how about this, folks? 20 seconds to play in the first half. A 3-point game. Penn State, losers of 4 in a row, playing their hearts out. Ohio State, they'd only allowed 12 points in the first half the entire season. Penn State's got 14 today.
Well, this is exactly what Terry Smith wanted to do, was capitalize. A couple of times they've gotten the ball down there against this very stout defense, and they've been able to punch it into the end zone. And what a break there. Getting the turnover is just so huge. And again, you go back to their middle linebacker, Amari Campbell, fighting for that ball and stripping it away from C.J. Donaldson. Ohio State playing it a bit safe after that 2-minute timeout. They go with the run play, just trying to get that drive started. And Amari Campbell, the transfer from North Carolina, they said he's a really good player, high IQ, intelligent guy, goes for the football, gets it out. Amazing sequence right there for Penn State.
Brandon Innes, the deep man for the Buckeyes. And he lets this one bounce into the end zone. 20 seconds to go. Julian saying, and the Bucks back on the field. The last time Penn State beat a #1 ranked team came 35 years ago in 1990 against Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish were led by Ricky Waters and Rocket Ismail, but Terry Smith and Al Golden both caught touchdown passes, leading the Nittany Lions to the upset victory.
And couldn't you just feel the love for Ohio State from Terry Smith? Or excuse me, for Penn State, for Terry Smith.
Oh, man, he loves his school.
Man, he's a Penn State guy. He said every opportunity in his career, whether it was a player or coaching, has come because of his ties to Penn State. He wants this job. He's coaching for this job. Pat Kraft, the athletic director, he has said absolutely Terry Smith is a candidate for this job. And what a performance here in the first half from this team.
We got a ball game in Columbus, folks. The reigning national champions are in a fight with Penn State, and downstairs Argini is with Coach Smith.
Coach, you told us your guys would play with nothing to lose. What a way to end the half. What do you make of this first half from your group?
Yeah, we're just going to continue to fight. That was a big-time forced fumble recovery. The offense has done a great job. 2 out of the last 3 possessions, we've punched in touchdowns. We got to carry this momentum into the half and just keep fighting.
And obviously it's on display for you. I know how much it means to you, Penn State. You bleed Penn State.
Yeah, I'm Penn State through and through. I just love the game of football. It's given me so much. I love opportunities like this. The game is 17-14 going into half against the #1 team in the country. We got a shot.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
All right, they certainly do. 17-14, folks. Halftime score. Don't forget, Rob and the boys, State Farm halftime show right after this from Ohio Stadium.
Time show like a good neighbor. State Farm is there. What a beautiful afternoon here in Columbus. And the Buckeyes opening drive was capped off by Jeremiah Smith's 8th touchdown reception of the season. His whiteout partner in crime, Carnell Tate, has one as well. The Buckeyes, though, just up 3 at the break. Coming up next, we take you to Austin, where the question all week was, would Arch Manning be able to play? He is, and he has been amazing so far. More college football coming your way after Penn State and Ohio State here in Columbus. It's 13th ranked Texas Tech taking on Kansas State, 3:30 Eastern right here on Fox. And later it all comes down to this one. Game 7 from Toronto. Dodgers, Blue Jays. Matt?
Yes, sir. Let's go,
We got
Blue.
confirmation.
Let's go, Blue.
Mr. Otani will start on the hill for the Dodgers. Our coverage starts at 7 Eastern here on Fox. Nick Singleton's 48th career touchdown pulled Penn State within 3 midway through the second quarter, and it remains a 3-point advantage for the road, or for the home team, Ohio State, as we welcome you back to the State Farm College Football Halftime Show. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Rob, Brady, Mark, Matt, Coach Urban Meyer back here with you. Interim Penn State head coach Terry Smith told us this week culture was big in the bye week. It was about re-identifying the team. They have refound that we are Penn State way, and it kicks off our State Farm halftime highlights.
And Rob, really what they found is some momentum as they headed into halftime. First play of the drive, C.J. Donaldson, no forward progress called in this case. The ball is ripped out. It's Chaz Coleman who picks it up for Penn State. The ensuing drive. Look at the creativity. Faking a little screen to the outside. A little shuffle pass to Katron Allen. They allow Katron Allen to punch it in to make it 17-14 heading into halftime, guys. And if there was anything that you need when you're a team that's lost, the last few weeks in a row, it's to give you some sort of sign you can go out there and compete. You can go out there and be able to make some plays versus arguably the best defense in the country in Ohio State. They did that in the first half.
Yeah, and I love these backs, man. Penn State, this is your identity. Get these backs, Nick Singleton and Katron Allen involved. And, Coach, don't just line up and run into the teeth of the defense. Find creative ways to get them the ball. That's what they did in the first half when they were being successful. Get Katron Allen on the edge. You see the vision. You see the speed. You see the playmaking ability. Get them in space. Allow them to make plays. Wide zone. Let him use his vision. Cut up the field. Get yards after contact. Now Nick Singleton. Get him on the jet speed. Get him into space. Don't run to the teeth of this defense. Get them in space and let them use their ability. A toss for a touchdown. They have 115 scrimmage yards and 2 touchdowns. The rest of the team, Brady, 27 yards. So keep going, and these guys in the backfield making plays will help them open up their entire offense.
You know exactly what you're saying, and Jay Paterno's with us and spending some time with him. He knows Terry Smith. He loves the guy. He's an offensive coach background, and he is all over. He's jumped in the middle of this offense. He believes in backs in space because what we're seeing, backs in space. You're seeing a lot of good things. Jay Paterno said Penn State guys love this coach, Terry Smith. I also spoke to Ryan Day in pregame, and right here on the field as we're walking over, and he said we have to get after him fast because on film they kind of give in. You saw that after they lost to Oregon, you saw teams start to waver. You're not seeing that right now.
Right.
So there's something changed possibly in that locker room against the best defense in America. They're kind of controlling the line of scrimmage. Those backs are getting yards. Something's changed in the Penn State locker room.
I think you talked about Julian saying, like, not getting as much love of the Heisman, right? Yeah. This is November. Let's start the Heisman campaign. This guy has been sensational. Sometimes I still can't believe he's a freshman. 11 of 14, 172 touchdowns in the first half. And credit the offensive line. They've done a great job. But the thing that always just sticks out, too, is just the decisiveness, the quick release, the accuracy. And then when bodies are flying around, he's very calm in the pocket. This is an underrated part of his game. This was a huge third down pickup on that drive. And then later they find Carnell Tate here for the big touchdown down the thing. So, again, you talk about the throws downfield. I'm actually just curious, guys. It's 17-14. We talked about it in the show. Game's close. Like, this is where you learn a lot about these young quarterbacks. Second half, game's close, a good defense. How does he respond? Like, you know.
We're going to learn a lot about Penn State, too, based on how Ohio State comes out of the half. If they can get a stop, keep this thing close. Otherwise, you can't fall behind if you're Penn State.
Right.
They're not throwing the football overly well with Drew Aller out, really the entire season.
Buckeyes, no penalties, 4 of 5 on third down, and they receive the opening kickoff of the second half. This week, Vanderbilt, on the heels of their ranked victory over Missouri, moved up to number 9 in the rankings. That is the highest they have been in 88 years. Another ranked test today as they travel to Austin.
Talk to me, Mark.
20.
This love fest is over, Coach. I told y'all before the game started, this love fest is over.
Arch Manning, Ryan Wingo, break free, 75-yard strike. Longhorns up 7-love.
Just get in Wingo's hands. He's got that breakaway speed.
Yeah, the playmakers are starting to come around for Texas.
Getting healthy in the backfield. The defense is strong. Arch is getting better.
Yep, Arch, 12 of 16, 200, and 2 touchdowns.
Find the window, CJ. There it is.
That made it 17-0. Little activity from the ground as well. It's now 24-10. 249 yards of offense.
Texas still alive in the SEC, boys. They got to go to Georgia
100%
next.
they are. Number 10, Miami at SMU. Couple.
Let's go,
Stangs. Eric Dickerson and Craig James. Scoreless. No more. Carson Beck, 12 of 19, 152. That touchdown. Also threw an interception. Second quarter, 7-0 game. Kevin Jennings, 10 of 13, 127. This one to Ymir Knight, tied things up at 7. Kate now up a field goal.
Fight.
Duke at Clemson. Blue Devils up 7. Darian Mensah has been huge today.
Wow.
3 touchdown passes. Clemson down 7. Adam Randall from 2 yards out ties it up at 21. And then just moments ago, Adam Randall from 2 yards. That put him up 28-21, but it's now 28 all at the break. West Virginia on the road at number 22, Houston. Not a lot of folks talking about those Cougars. West Virginia giving them a battle. This put them up 21-7. Later in the second quarter, Cougars down 7. Connor Wegman, Maury Thomas.
Oh, good grab.
Contested catches.
We love contested catches.
16-19, 2 touchdowns for Wegman. How about Sawyer Robertson today as Baylor's hosting UCF? This one to Michael Trigg, one-handed grab.
Ooh. Look, Ma, one hand.
Wow, what a catch.
Next play, Robertson to Josh Cameron. Sawyer Robertson, 23 of 30, 247, 2 touchdowns at the break. Navy on the road at North Texas. Caleb Hawkins runs it in, his second touchdown of the day, and it's a 14-0 lead for North Texas. More from Hawkins, this one from 14 yards out.
North Texas, man, alive in this AAC, man.
Very much so. Navy now with a tough slate ahead.
Army taking on Air Force. Cale Helms, Noah Short, 4-yard touchdown.
That doesn't look like the wishbone to me, Coach. That's not the flex bone there at Army.
Army's pass game. Break it down for us, Brady.
They got 3 plays in the Penn.
Buffalo taking on Buckeye legend Eddie George and his Bowling Green Falcons. L.J. Henderson, 41 yards for the score. Buffalo up 21-0 at the break. Rutgers at Illinois, scoreless. Luke Altmaier rolls. Caden Fagan.
Oh, can of corn. We can of corn there. That's easy.
We call that slipper naked right.
Fourth and goal, guys. Antoine Raymond to Altmaier.
Oh. Ooh, a little trickeration.
Illinois up 21-6. Mark's favorite program in the SEC. It's not Alabama. It's not the Barners. It's Vandy. What do you got against Diego Pavia and Vandy right now?
I don't have nothing against them, man. It's just a love fest.
You don't?
It's a love fest. The country loves them, and this love fest is over. I told you Texas defense was coming to play today. They have 13 carries for 14 yards. Vanderbilt does. Their defense, 3 sacks and 5 tackles for loss. This Texas team is getting healthier. I don't like them either, but I like them more than Vandy. So
here's what I need you to do. I need you to look into the camera and call out Dave Portnoy, because Dave has been leading.
Oh, he's on
the bandwagon of the Vanderbilt. There.
Oh, yeah. Dave is part of the reason why this love fest is over. You keep betting on Vandy. You keep betting on Diego Pavia. This love fest is over, Dave. You don't know ball.
Well, he did win a lot of money on Vandy, though.
You do not know ball. I know ball.
You don't see an angry Mark Ingram often. I'm so used to that beautiful smile. Vandy's the one that's taking him to the edge. Julian saying and the Buckeyes with a narrow 3-point lead. They do get the opening kickoff in the second half, and you'll see it next live on Fox.
Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by AT&T Business. Connecting changes everything. Welcome back to the Shoe. We've got a good game going for you now, folks. 17-14, Ohio State leading Penn State as we head into the second half. Gus Johnson along with my quarterback, Joel Klatt. Welcome back to Columbus. Tell you what, Terry Smith told us in our meetings with Penn State yesterday that they were going to give everything they had. And I tell you, the Nittany Lions are not playing with the eye of the tiger. They're playing with the heart of the lion.
That's a great way to put it. They played a sensational first half and took advantage of those series down inside the 10-yard line to punch it into the end zone. It didn't start off great for Penn State. That first series for Ohio State, they go right down the field. Single coverage on Jeremiah Smith. He punches it into the end zone. It was more passing game for the Buckeyes as Sand found Carnell Tate into the end zone. But then the huge play before the half as you get the strip of C.J. Donaldson, and then Penn State's got the short field, and they are able to capitalize. And there's that heart of a lion from Katron Allen. Love what Mark was talking about there at halftime with the guys and talking about that run game with these two backs, Singleton and Allen, and trying to get them going, because you can see the total yards, they're not there for Penn State, but that's all right. You just got to stay patient and stay close to this Ohio State team. Force them into a position that they have not been in this year, which is some second half adversity. That's exactly what they've been able to do, and now it's incumbent on this defense, led by Jim Knowles, the coordinator, Gus, to go out there and try to get a stop early in this third quarter, give that ball back to an offense that really found a rhythm in the second quarter.
So here we go, start of the second half as Ohio State comes on the field on offense. Let's go downstairs to Jen.
Well, I just caught up with Coach Day as he came back out here. And, Gus, I got to say, he was ready to get back out here. He was pretty short and sweet. I did ask how he addressed the turnover before the half. And he said, look, you turn the ball over like that, of course they're going to capitalize. We're disappointed. We have to be better. Now, with that offense, just 53 yards rushing, I said, how do you get them going? He said, we had 3 drives. We scored 17 points. But to win this game, we're going to need more. And we haven't had the balance I'd like to see on offense and defense. He'd like to see this group start hard in the second half.
All right, Jen, first down and 10 of the 25 for the Buckeyes. Play fake, Sand rolls out of the pocket. Sideline throw, first down. Will Kasmarek with the catch this time. Second string tight end, gains 14.
Yeah, and there's that controlled passing game we saw in the first possession. You know, Penn State did get a good pass rush going in that second quarter, and they made life a little bit uncomfortable for Julian Sand. Now, he stepped away on that 1 3rd down, but getting him outside of the pocket, it's a nice adjustment for this Ohio State offense here early in the second half.
From the 39 now, first down. Ohio State. Sayin steps into his throw. Tate got it! Inside the Penn State 5. Tater again, 57 yards. This kid's magic.
He has great speed down the field, and that was a beautiful throw from Julian Sayin. Almost looked like it was to the tight end, and then Tate came screaming over the top. Really good protection by that offensive line, and you see the speed from Tate down the field. Just an inability of that secondary to keep up with number 17.
First down and goal at the 4 now. Tate in motion. Jackson. And Bo Jackson gets inside the 1. Carnell Tate, folks, 4 catches, 126 yards and a touchdown.
He has been lethal on down the field targets. 20+ air yard catches, meaning the ball thrown down the field. 10 targets, 9 catches, 383 yards, and 5 touchdowns. We've seen a couple already here today. He's just an elite threat. And remember, all that attention being paid to Jeremiah Smith on the opposite side of the field, that opens up those downfield routes for Tate.
Second down and goal at the 2. Jackson. And he won't get in. Bo Jackson downed at the 1. Amari Campbell with the tackle makes third down and goal.
And this is one of those attitude possessions, you know, for Ryan Day. He knows that they've got to run the football better. He tries to give that offensive line a couple of cracks at it with those first 2 snaps. And in particular, that right side of that offensive line has struggled at times this year. We'll see if they go back to the run game and try to establish that attitude.
Third down and goal at the 1. Donaldson in. He's the power back. They give it to him. Leans. Touchdown, Buckeyes.
Really good block by Cerville, the left tackle over here. He opens it up. Luke Montgomery, 51, gets pushed back into the backfield, the left guard right there. But Donaldson's able to just elude that bit of pressure and find that block of Cerville, number 67. He gets behind him and finds the end zone and atones for that fumble before the end of the half.
So Jaden Fielding comes in for the extra point. Ohio State wasted no time scoring to start the second half. 5 plays covering 75 yards. They ate up 2 minutes and 42 seconds. The key play, Carnell Tate, 57-yard reception.
Sunday, the Broncos are on a 5-game win streak. Bo Nix chats with Allison Williams, and the newly paid Aiden Hutchinson catches up with Carissa Thompson. Plus, special guest Jeremy Renner. Coverage starts at 11 Eastern on Fox.
Good to see Jeremy Renner back up, and Adam had a terrible accident that he survived, and he's coming through great. Ohio State up 24-14 here in the third quarter.
I love Andy.
That's our guy.
Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color?
Would it be green? Buckeyes send it away. Corey Smith, the deep man. And he has to pick this one up off the bounce. Crosses the 10 and gets drilled. So that brings us to our Aflac trivia question. Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover with Aflac. Who was the last Big Ten team not named Michigan to win in Ohio Stadium?
Oh, man.
Whoa.
That's tough.
Who would that be?
Well, Oregon beat them, but not when they were a Big Ten team. We did that game. Remember in C.J.
Yeah, I remember doing that game.
That wouldn't qualify. Would it go all the way back to Michigan State? Remember the Connor Cook team that came in here and beat Ohio State?
I think, was that Urban coaching that team? First down and 10 at the 13. Grunkemeyer, far side, caught by Dinkins and out of bounds. Was that the game Ezekiel Elliott didn't get the ball? Let's see. Who was the last Big Ten team not named Michigan to win in Ohio Stadium? Michigan State,
There
2015.
It was that game.
When Zeke didn't get the ball because Urban didn't give him the ball. And then he left and went to the pros. By the way, I saw Urban ringing that bell at the beginning.
Yeah.
We need to get him in the weight room. He looks like he was struggling. Shelley needed to help him.
Why are you all over Urban
I
right
love
now?
that guy. That's my man. 2nd down and 1 at the 22. Singleton. Push forward, and it looks like he'll get it. And he gets the first down.
Well, this Penn State offense, you know, I thought Mark Ingram made a great point. It was the versatility in the run game that was allowing Penn State to have success inside and outside. They also did a nice job of sprinkling in some plays and concepts where they had extra offensive linemen on the field in the first half. That was effective for them. Their most effective offense was getting the ball on the perimeter to those backs, Singleton and Allen on the toss sweeps. Let's see if they try to go back to that, but here it'll be empty backfield.
1st down and 10. Grunkemeyer, short throw, caught, Pena, and he'll get forward. Pena, the Syracuse transfer, played with Kyle McCord at Syracuse last year.
Man, they were so good throwing the football. McCord, obviously leaving Ohio State, went to Syracuse, became the nation's leading passer. Penn State had to address the wide receiver position. That was such a huge point of focus in the offseason. They did so through the transfers. You know, it's... There, look at this little shift here. Offensive line all on the right side.
2nd down and 4. Pena again looking for the first down, and he has it. Some interesting formations for this Nittany Lions team under Coach Kotelnicki.
Yeah, and Andy Kotelnicki, he told us that he just wants to make this defense think. And he said specifically, we have to win between the snaps and get them thinking rather than get their cleats in the ground and let them play fast. That's what they're best at. They're athletic. They can run. And he wants them thinking about all these shifts and motions and different personnel groups as often as he can.
1st down and 10 at the 33. Clifford in at quarterback. They hand it off. Not a lot. Maybe 3 yards on the play with Singleton. 2nd and 7. From the 36. Grunkemeyer. Wide throw. Caught. And it's Clifford who gets drilled by Sonny Styles out of bounds. He'll gain a yard. Everything going side to side now.
Look how fast Styles is. He's right there as Liam Clifford catches that ball. And now it's a 3rd down opportunity for this defense to try to get off the field, try to affect the passer. That's Maurice Claret urging this crowd to get back in the ball game.
3rd down and 6 at the 37. Grunkemeyer. Nobody home, and he'll go down. Kenyatta Jackson. Michael Myers with the sack, a loss of 8.
Nowhere to go with the football. Grunkemeyer has time initially, but you can see the coverage. Trying to find the tight end, nobody there. On the far side of the field, coverage doing a great job passing it off. Wide receivers not working open. Grunkemeier's trying to get out of the pocket, and there's Michael Myers for the sack.
First sack of the game by either team. Ennis lets that one go out of bounds at the 15-yard line. The Ohio State defense steps it up, turns Penn State away. Coming up, they'll be back on offense after this. Saturday is sponsored by Voya. Well planned, well invested, well protected. Are you fan enough? Sponsored by Dr. Pepper. It's a Pepper thing. What a day here at Ohio State. This crowd has been electric. Their energy, infectious. They love their Buckeyes here. Attendance, 105,000. 25-17, third largest stadium in the U.S. behind Michigan Stadium and Beaver Stadium at Penn State. Best damn band in the land performing. First down and 10 at the 16 for the Buckeyes. Bo Jackson in the backfield. Saying, drops it out. Jeremiah Smith turns it up. Oh, make that Brandon Ennis. Turns it up. And he will gain 6.
You know, what's apparent is, like, you know, everyone wants Ohio State to improve running the football. But here's the thing. They have an out pitch, right? We're watching the World Series every night. We talk about, John Smoltz talks about out pitches. What are you going to go to? What's your best stuff? Their best stuff is throwing the football. I think they're an elite throwing team, maybe the best passing team in the country. So when they've needed it here in the second half, what have they done? They've opened it up. Julian Sand throwing the football on the outside.
Second down and 4 at the 22. Tate with 2 huge receptions today. Over 100 yards receiving. Now Sand going deep for Smith. Got it! Jeremiah down at the 20. 58 yards. Julian Sand sharing the sugar.
You know what this guy is, Gus?
What?
He's a regardless receiver. Regardless of the double coverage, give him a chance, throw him the football. Penn State's got 2 guys on him. They're trying to cover him with a third. You still throw him the football because he's that good. That was a beautiful throw from Sand. But there are times every game where it doesn't matter what the coverage is. You've got to take a shot to Jeremiah Smith.
First down and 10 of the 21-yard line. Saying again, this time it's Tate. Ooh, beautiful. Open field tackle by Davion Collins, Jr., Mississippi State transfer.
Yeah, and he had some room there. If Collins doesn't get Tate down, he's got the corner, and he's certainly going to get the first down, maybe more. You watch him come flying in here from the secondary, and the edge is clear, and he just goes right after the legs. That is a beautiful open field tackle.
Second down and 11 at the 22. Saying started 7 for 7, then went 2 for 5, but 7 for 7 since. Saying, here's Ennis, and Ennis breaks a tackle, but he will not get back to the line of scrimmage. Chimachue with the stop, a loss of 1.
Good pursuit on each of these last 2 snaps from Penn State, and then open field tackling, and it produces a 3rd and long. And now Ohio State certainly in a passing situation. This is where Julian Sand and his ability to manipulate the pocket becomes so huge. We've seen Penn State create some pressure in these situations. They're going to need to again.
Third down and 12 at the 23. Julian Sand over the middle, incomplete, and a flag. Max Clare was the target. A.J. Harris in coverage.
You can see that right hand locked on his hip, the left hand over the shoulder, and he's just holding him right there, and Clare can't get to the ball.
Defense number 4, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And now that is the first pass interference that has been called against the defense going against Ohio State all year long, which is, again, it's remarkable to believe that that's the case, but that is the case, and that's going to move the chains, and it'll be first down inside the 10. But again, Gus, I go back to, you know, that out pitch. What are you great at? Terry Smith knew it coming in, that this team was explosive throwing the football. We saw him open the game with Sand, throwing it around, and now they've gone to it here early in the 3rd quarter. This passing game is as good or better than any in college football.
My goodness, Saying 17 of 20, 300 yards passing, 2 touchdown passes. First down and goal at the 8. Jackson. And he'll get close to the 5. And I have to give Jeremiah Smith a lot of credit for his maturity. Carnell Tate has been getting a lot of love because Jeremiah's always double teamed, but he's been patient and complimentary and supportive of all the receivers.
Well, and look at what they've been able to do today. Each of them 5 catches, both of them over 100 yards, each of them with a touchdown. You know, and the patience of Smith, here's the thing. He's going to get his. He's just so good. He's going to get his. But the more that Tate can excel on the opposite side, the more he's going to have chances late in the season to go against single coverage and have opportunities to affect the game.
Second down and goal at the 6. They hand it off. Donaldson. And he's dragged down at the 1 after a 5-yard gain. Wheatley with the saving tackle.
I mean, what a third quarter for these Buckeyes. You know, it looked like they were in control of the game. And obviously that sequence with the fumble and the Penn State touchdown led to frustration for Ryan Day. You know that halftime was, well, should we say animated in that locker room? You know Ryan Day was animated, and this Buckeye team has come out in the third quarter very motivated.
Third down and goal at the 1. Donaldson, single setback. It's his time. Play fake, Sayin looks. Touchdown, Buckeyes. Brett Christian. Bennett Christian.
What a great design. You've got Christian going down, and then he's going to sneak out of the backfield. Good play fake right there from Sayin. And then he just lofts it to the corner, and there's Bennett Christian for the touchdown.
What a day for Julian Sayin. 18 of 21, 301 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, a long of 57. Fielding for the extra point. Got it. 31-14, 7 plays, covering 84 yards. Buckeyes score in 4 minutes and 31 seconds. Tonight, Game 7 of the World Series is on Fox. And it all comes down to this as Ohtani and the defending champion Dodgers look to repeat while Vlad Jr. and the Blue Jays fight for their first crown in 32 years. Coverage begins tonight at 7 Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Fox. And look at this pitching matchup. Ohtani on the mound, 3 days rest against the oldest starting pitcher in a Game 7 in World Series history, and Max Scherzer. He's 41 years old. Man. Can't wait to see that one. And this one will be brought out of the end zone by Quentin Martin Jr. Ill-advised. And he'll be tackled as he crosses the 15. 31-14, our score. Penn State with the football from Columbus, Ohio, right after this. All right, congratulations to Ohio State for breaking the Guinness World Record for the most people wearing conical birthday hats, party hats, in celebration of Brutus's birthday. The event was sponsored by the Nina and Ryan Day Resilience Fund and many of Ohio State's departments and alumni. Congrats, Buckeyes, showing the world what it means to be a resilient champion on and off the field. Our crew, we have some. And I got mine, Joel. That's right.
I got mine.
That's right.
There we
Brutus
go.
is 60. Here's Grunkemeyer. And he gets it away. Now, here's the deal with that Guinness Book of World Records record. Ohio State, they just can't win. They got to just clobber you. They won by like 1,500 to 2,000.
Party hats?
Party hats. And guess who they beat? Their opponent. They just had to destroy their opponent.
Who was it?
A bunch of 5th graders in England. Bloodthirsty Buckeyes. That's what you call them, Brutus. Happy birthday, big fella. Second down and 7 at the 21. Here's a handoff on the right side. Katron Allen. See, you didn't want to mess your hair up. You wouldn't put your hat on. I saw that.
I put it on. I put it on.
Yeah.
It was just happened to be over the headset.
So what do you do now if you're Penn State, Joel? Down 31-14. Game kind of slipping away from you now.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just sit there and pitch it around, even though that would be the human instinct. You've got to get back to what worked in the first half. What we haven't seen them get back to are those perimeter runs, the toss sweeps, the jet sweeps. But here on a third down, you're going to have to try to throw the football, and these wide receivers have got to win. This group has got to create a picture for a completion for Gruckemeyer.
3rd down and 5. Gruckemeyer looking, nobody there, delivers, and it's Ross. Nice turn, and he gains 8 yards and a 1st down.
A broken play where Gruckemeyer's got to leave the pocket, and then a missed tackle on the outside right there. It looks like Jermaine Matthews, number 7. He misses Devontae Ross, who's able to scamper for the 1st.
So 1st down at the 31. Katron Allen. He'll gain no yards on this play. Couldn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Kenyatta Jackson's been terrific today.
He's been great. That Michael Myers costume that he wore yesterday in the facility has turned him into an absolute killer on the field today. And I tell you, what's interesting to me, though, is Penn State has had very little to no success here in the second half on 1st down. They're not built to play from behind the chains, and we haven't seen the creative perimeter runs on 1st down. It's been largely up the middle, and Ohio State has been ready for that.
2nd down and 10 at the 31. Gruckemeyer underneath, that ball deflected at the line of scrimmage. Incomplete. And I believe it was Jackson again.
Yeah, it sure was. Right at the line of scrimmage, got that right hand up. There's Kenyatta Jackson. And he's fighting for leverage, and then he just reaches up, bats that ball right down.
Third down and long for Penn State at their own 31. Gruckemeyer. Here comes a pressure. Phil Reese.
Tell you the explosiveness of Arvell Reese right here to get around the edge, and he just beats the tackle. Drew Shelton knocks his hands down, gets to the quarterback immediately. There is no chance for Gruckemeyer right there. Doesn't run past him. He just tracks him down and brings him down to the ground. Arvell Reese, a missile.
Ennis ready to return from the 22. And he'll get up to the 30 before being dropped. A 58-yard punt and a 10-yard return. 31-14 Buckeyes starting to pull away now. As we head to the 4th quarter. 31-14. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by AT&T Business. Connecting changes everything. Start of the 4th quarter. The number 1 team in the nation, the world-famous Ohio State Buckeyes, undefeated on top of Penn State here. As we start the first down and 10 at the 30. Julian Saying has been sensational today for Ohio State. And it's Peoples. And he'll pick up a 1st down. James Peoples, the sophomore from San Antonio, gains 11.
This offense has been staggeringly good today. Saying 3 incompletions, 3 touchdowns. How's that for a day against this Penn State defense? And when they've needed it, they've gone to the passing game, and it has been there. Down the field, short passing game, it's all been there.
Just saying, Heisman maybe? We'll see with a performance like this. Peoples again. It'll gain 2. Let's check in with Jenny.
Now, I know we've been talking about Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate all day. Well, I was at practice on Thursday. I pulled them both aside. I said, be honest with me. You got to tell me if there's competitiveness between both of you. And they truly said, we understand if we push each other, we're going to get better. Jeremiah Smith told me there's this reputation that receivers are divas. It is the furthest thing at Ohio State. And Coach Day told me it really is our DNA. If you're going to be about yourself, this isn't the place for you.
Oh, great story, Jenny. And I agree with those young men 100%. Just terrific young men. Had a chance to chat with Jeremiah yesterday. He said, I'm not frustrated at all about anything. I'm happy to see everything that's happening with Carnell Tate.
You know, it's this idea like, oh, somehow he's not getting his catches. He came into the game with 49 grabs and 600 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
He's getting his.
But you know, he could probably get more.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, you see them now finally on that last series go to him in double coverage. You know, and that's something that we haven't seen a lot of from Ohio State so far this year.
That's what you were arguing with Chip Kelly about last year. I'll never forget that. He's not open. Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
He's always open.
Chip and I had a spirited
Oh, my
argument.
gosh. I was getting nervous, folks.
Well, this is going to be Ohio State's first punt of the game. A bit surprised they went to the run game there on third down. Maybe trying to prove a point, trying to get that part of their game better. It's, you know, it's so hard. Their passing game is so elite that unless their run game is elite, everyone gets frustrated.
So Joe McGuire comes in, sends it away. Ross at the 10 and flags. A 43-yard punt. It looks like this will go against Bryson Rogers.
Fair catch interference, number 13 of the kicking team. From the spot of the foul, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down, timeout in the field.
All right, so coming up, Grunkemeyer and the Penn State offense. See if they can get something going. Big News Saturday is sponsored by Pacific Life, building confident futures for nearly 160 years.
Pacific Life Game Summary is sponsored by Pacific Life, building confident futures for nearly 160 yards. It's been an offensive explosion for Ohio State here in the second half. Big throws down the field, 57 yards each to Carnell Tate, then to Jeremiah Smith. Julian Sand throwing the ball so well. Only 3 incompletions, 3 touchdowns. That one to Bennett Christian. As this offense has come to life. You know, I've made the argument that we haven't even seen, you know, the best of that offense. They haven't even turned it into 4th and 5th gear. I think we saw some of that 4th gear in the third quarter with that passing game down the field.
First down and 10 at the 25. And Grunkemeyer to Singleton, who's ambushed before he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles.
Look how fast Arvell Reese is. This is the athleticism that you get from Arvell Reese. So he's just right in the middle of the field. Here's your middle linebacker. And so he sees Singleton, and then he just closes it down, and there's nowhere to go. The recognition, obviously, eyes in the backfield. He sees number 10 slide out for the screen, and there he is. You know, a very smart player, but then again, it's the athleticism and physicality that makes him such a good player.
5th tackle for a loss for the Ohio State defense today. Grunkemeyer sprints out, delivers, and it's Ross. He gets upfield. Reese again with the tackle.
Boy, doesn't it seem like this defense has had a little extra something to them here in the second half?
I think they took the 14 points they gave up personally in the first half.
Giving up those 2 touchdowns. You know, I'm sure guys like Caleb Downs, Matt Patricia in the locker room at halftime were saying, hey, that is not our standard. Now, granted, one of those was a short field after the fumble recovery from Penn State, but they have come out here flying around, tackling really well in the second half.
3rd down and 7 at the 28. Penn State 6 of 11 on 3rd down conversions. Here's some trickery. Grunkemeyer, not very good. Kenyatta Jackson Reese with another tackle for a loss, a flag on the play.
Yeah, they had 2 guys in motion before the snap, so nothing going right for this Penn State offense in this second half.
Illegal motion, offense number 16, Witten motion from the line of scrimmage. That penalties decline. Result of play, 4th down.
So that'll make it 4th down and 21 as they lose 14. Kenyatta Jackson. Ennis. with the fair catch at the 37. 48-yard punt. The defense stepping up for Ohio State in the second half. Buckeyes with the ball after this. Players showing up for Game 7 tonight. Dalton Varsho, George Spring, and Shane Bieber. (31-14). Ohio State now with the football, first down and 10 at their own 38. Jackson. Bo! Jackson! Out of bounds at the 10. 51 yards.
Boy, they've been waiting for something like this. Right over that left side of the offensive line. The explosive run that has eluded them all season long, and finally here in the second half after that passing game had taken over, and Bo Jackson finally is able to break one on this Penn State defense.
Third play of 50 or more yards today for Ohio State. First and 10 at the 11. Smith in motion. Saying over the middle. Oh, what a catch by Jeremiah Smith. Money on the rise. Oh.
I don't understand. I really don't. Zakee Wheatley, number 6, is going to bat this ball up in the air, and then Smith goes up and just one-hands it with the right hand. What are we doing?
Come on, man.
Give me that. Touchdown. Buckeyes.
Holy extra point. Good. I think his coach was impressed. Watch this, folks. You won't see anything better. Randy Moss, where you at? Yeah. Fox College Football Friday is under the lights in prime time. This week, Jaden Mayava leads number 23 USC in one of the nation's most electrifying offenses against Northwestern. Friday night at 9 Eastern on Fox. Jeremiah Smith, 6 catches, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. You know, folks, all the quarterbacks usually get the Heisman Trophy. So you can give the Heisman to whoever you want. But Jeremiah Smith, what'd you say during halftime? During the break?
That's the best player in America.
That's the best player in America.
That one right there.
Right there. That dude, number 4. Let's go downstairs to the best sideline reporter in America, Jenny
All right.
Tabb.
Well, you know what, Gus? Everyone had to see a replay of that amazing catch from Jeremiah Smith. Everyone was gathered around the tablets watching it back. Well, Jeremiah Smith, he lived it. He didn't need to watch it back. Julian Sayin kept laughing, smiling over at his receiver. Then he simply got up, went over to him and said, "Hey, nice catch."
Just a walk in the park for Jeremiah Smith. Just something to do on a Saturday afternoon. This kid is great. A great young man. First down and 10 at the 25 for Penn State. Grunkemeyer lost it. And the Nittany Lions jump on it. Pressure being applied by Edric Houston. Long, quick, former defensive end who moved inside.
Well, now after that snap, Penn State has run 17 plays in this second half for a total of, I believe it's going to be 1 yard after losing 6 there on that play. That's how good and dominant this defense has been after the halftime break.
Second down and 16 at the 19-yard line. Grunkemeyer out wide. Pena, not a lot. We'll get back to the line of scrimmage McDonald. But coming into this game, remember, Ohio State, the #1 scoring defense in the country, giving up 5.9 points per game. The #1 total defense in the country. #3 passing defense. #8 rushing defense.
It's all about leverage out there. You see Sonny Styles. Did you see him stay outside? His outside arm stayed free. That's the leverage that you've got to play with if you're that support player, and it allows all that pursuit to come from the inside of the field.
3rd down and 15. Sideline throw, and it's a catch.
Beautiful.
Hudson, did he get his foot in bounds? Yes, he did.
Yeah, that was
First down, Nittany Lions.
Beautiful throw and catch from Grunkemeyer out to the outside. And the timing here was perfect, and Kyron Hudson is able to extend and then just get that foot down before going out of bounds. That's by far the most successful snap of the day for Penn State.
A lot of positives for this Penn State offense in this game. And they can build on these positive experiences. Wildcat quarterback in, that's Katron Allen, as they take on Indiana next week at home. Ouch.
This Ohio State defense, you know, we're coming up, there's about 7.5 left. They've given up 14 points. You know, if they're able to hold Penn State under 17, you know, Matt Patricia will join a group of teams that are a remarkable group of teams. You're talking about 2011, 2012 Alabama, 2021 Georgia, 2023 Michigan. These teams all held their first 8 opponents under 17 points. All 4 of those teams ended up winning the national championship.
Grunkemeyer over the middle. Oh, nice throw and catch. Wonderful job by Kobe Howard. His 2nd catch of the season for 26.
These are 2 great throws. First to Kyron Hudson on the left side, and then here Grunkemeyer gets some time and layers this ball just over Arvell Reese to the young Kobe Howard, the freshman that they really like.
First down from the 34, and incomplete. And a flag coming up against Caleb Downs. And that's Dinkins. This may be targeting against Downs.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be, because Dinkins is going to get defenseless player protection. So any contact forcibly to the head or neck area is going to be a targeting. Plus Downs, yeah, he goes upstairs with that shoulder. And I would be surprised if this is waved off. And now happening in the second half, it means that he would lose the first half as Ohio State goes to Purdue next week.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness with targeting. Defense, number 2, 15-yard penalty. The ruling of targeting is under further review.
You know, Downs normally, he knows better. When you watch on film, he almost always goes low into the body. But here, as Dinkins misses that ball, look at him extend and go up and accelerate up into that face area of Dinkins with the shoulder.
Let's join Mike Pereira. Mike, your thoughts?
Yeah, I certainly like it as a targeting. Now it's not, don't have to deal with the crown of the helmet here. He's a defenseless player. There's a launch, and there is contact to the head or neck area. But here's the key: even if they take targeting off, his announcement was personal foul with targeting, so the personal foul would stay on. So that's something to remember when they make their decision here.
Mike, what do you think about the targeting? Do you think it will stay?
To me, I mean, I look at this and say this is why they put the rule in. I mean, there is the launch, and that's the one thing. So you have the indicator, and then is it contact with the shoulder to the head neck area? Very close. You know, could they say it was upper chest? Possibly. Just depends how they're looking at it. But me personally, because of the launch, I would even want to put it in that category that I would like it to stay. But we have seen them doing a kind of taking a different approach. They're being really technical, saying you have to have all elements to it, so we'll see what he says now.
Targeting. However, there is a personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 2, half distance to go, automatic this time.
Thank you, Mike.
Great.
You got it. And obviously they looked at that way.
Yeah, it's a great description.
That's the way they looked at this and saying that, yeah.
All right, so Caleb Downs will stay on the field, and he will not have to miss time next week when they travel to West Lafayette. 38-14 our score, under 7 to play here in the 4th.
I wish that's how this penalty was always. You know, for the 15 yards, great, but let's not eject players. That's what I've been arguing for a long time. So I like that that's the direction that they went.
Katron Allen running hard today. Allen, he may have the first down. You know, actually, they give him 9.
Should be noted, there was some conversation in the offseason about changing the targeting rule and trying to create 2 categories that would leave personal foul on and take away the ejection. And a big proponent of that was the Big Ten Conference. So here in a Big Ten game, kind of leaning that direction. Downs not ejected and stays in the game.
2nd down and 1 for the Nittany Lions at the Ohio State 10. A good drive for Penn State. Here's Allen again. Stutter step at the line of scrimmage. Tried to spin to get the first down. Will not get it. Big boys, Caden McDonald in on the play.
Tell you, there's been a couple of really nice throws on this drive from Grunkemeyer. I know that one to Dinkins was a bit overthrown, but he's shown some comeback here and some grit, some fight on this series here in the 4th quarter.
Only his 2nd start. He's a freshman, folks. He's doing great. Better than great. Against the #1 team in the nation and the #1 defense in the nation. Great experience for him. As Singleton.
Good push here by the right side of the offensive line, and Singleton is able to find a little bit of a crease and then roll forward for the line to gain.
First down and goal. Grunkemeyer in the corner, incomplete. Hudson, the target. It was deflected by Sonny Styles. I watched Sonny Styles walk onto the field today out of the tunnel. Talk about passing the eye test, Joe.
I know.
Golly gee.
You're just like, that's the way it's supposed to look.
Where's the beach?
And
that way.
You should see all the scouts around the sideline when these Ohio State defenders like run onto the field. They all kind of look, and then they start writing notes down. They start writing in their notebooks.
2nd down and goal at the 9. Grunkemeyer underneath. That worked earlier, not this time for Katron Allen. He gets 2.
I doubt they'll do it here on 3rd down, but they ran that toss sweep 3 times in the first half, all successfully, one of them for a touchdown. Haven't seen them come back to that yet in this 2nd half, and Terry Smith looking for any positives he can muster here out of what has been a really tough 2nd half in the shoe.
3rd down and goal at the 7. Grunkemeyer, here's the pressure. Grunkemeyer throws, incomplete. Sonny Styles in the backfield. Forced Ethan Grunkemeyer to throw it quicker than he wanted to throw it.
Well, they're going to keep the offense on the field. Ohio State desperate to hold them under 17 here. Matt Patricia's defense. I expect them to go with that pressure look again because these wide receivers have not shown the ability to get away from man coverage. They can play man coverage on the outside and try to present pressure on Grunkemeyer in the backfield.
4th down and goal of the 7. Grunkemeyer in the end zone, and it's intercepted. Caleb Downs.
Well, Downs was laid over there in coverage. Watch as they're trying to get lined up, Ohio State. They did go with that man coverage. They're trying to send a pressure, and then Downs is just man-to-man, and they're trying to hit that slot. Dinkins to the corner of the end zone, and Downs just falls off of his man. That was Katron Allen. You know, these pictures for Penn State, these wide receiver pictures, they never materialize. When you watch Penn State, the wide receivers, the tight ends, they don't get open on a consistent basis. And in particular in the red zone, we've seen these turnovers happen before. We saw it against Northwestern. Drew Aller threw a turnover into the end zone as they were down inside the red zone. And here again, it's Grunkemeyer throwing it to Caleb Downs.
So Ohio State with the football at the 20. Bo Jackson. And they will probably keep his hands full as he gains 5 for the final 4:18 of the fourth quarter.
Man, I got to tell you, I'm struck, as we looked at our potential schedule this summer, and you're looking at this season, and Gus, all of us thought this was going to be a game that might be 1 versus 2 in the country, that they might each be undefeated. And here we're sitting with Penn State about to lose their 5th game in a row. James Franklin out at Penn State. It's hard to fathom how quickly this all crumbled in State College.
And Jackson again, first down. James Franklin is a wonderful football coach. He has always been good to us here at Fox Sports. We wish him nothing but the best, and I have a feeling that he'll be on somebody's sideline next year.
Yeah, I certainly think he's going to coach, and he had a ton of success. Listen, they were chasing 1%, just get 1% better. They had a hard time beating the Michigans and the Ohio States of the world. Obviously, James Franklin's, if you want to call them shortcomings in those big matchups, were well chronicled. And it started to pop up again when they lost to Oregon, and they've never recovered.
UCLA, Northwestern. And here's Jackson running hard. Iowa.
Now, this is going to be the first time in college football history that a team that starts in the top 2 in the AP to begin the year is going to lose 5 straight games. As we take a look at what the undefeated #1 team in the country faces down the stretch. Certainly manageable until you get to that game up north in Ann Arbor, where Ryan Day will try to get his first win against Michigan since 2019.
Wolverines are waiting for him. They play Purdue today. Taking us to the 2-minute warning. Here's a handoff to Jackson, and quickly, Joel. Who's the leader in the clubhouse to get this Penn State job so far? Do you know?
We don't know. What I do know, though, is that they're going to need a great fit. It's always about fit. The best coaches fit the location. Penn State is a proud program, one of the best jobs in America, and they're going to get it right, I'm sure.
Big News Saturday is sponsored by Allstate. You're in good hands. There's Coach Meyer, our guy, our coach. 3-time national champion, 7-0 against the team up north. That's Shelly's wife. Athletic director Ross York with Coach Meyer. Maurice Claret in the conversation as well. Outstanding. 2nd down and 7 for the Buckeyes out of the offset eye. Peoples. Your thoughts on LSU?
Oh, man. Is the governor giving any more press conferences?
Oh, my gosh.
What's going on, man? What is going on? I tell you what, I will say this about all the openings. Florida obviously open, and a few others. I think when you look at LSU, Penn State, and Florida, those are probably 3 of the top 10, 11 jobs in all of college football. And I can't remember, a cycle that had that many big jobs, really marquee jobs. And what's interesting is you're starting to see around the country these guys that like their location and like where they're at take their names out of the ring. Dan Lanning emphatically saying, no, I'm staying at Oregon. Kurt Cignetti got the extension at Indiana. Matt Rule just got an extension at Nebraska, which is starting to limit, the coaching search for all of these teams. I think Brian Kelly will coach again. Where that is, not sure. James Franklin will certainly coach again. A name that keeps coming up is obviously Lane Kiffin. He hasn't done the extension at Ole Miss. That's going to be one to watch. Alex Golish at South Florida is a name that a lot of people have brought up. I think he's done a fabulous job there with the Bulls. Clark Lee at Vanderbilt, although Texas is getting after Vandy today in DKR. And, a name I'll just throw out, and Buckeye fans, you can throw your remote at your TV, but Brian Hartline is going to be mentioned, for some of these openings, and rightly so.
I think Coach Kelly will be a great fit at Penn State. You talked about fit. There's Brian Hartline, head coach in waiting. He's got to pick the right spot. Oklahoma State also open. UCLA. It's been crazy, Joel.
I know.
I mean, wow.
I mean, there's been $167 million in buyout money, spent by these programs around the country. That's a wild, staggering amount.
Pat Fitzgerald is available as well. Another tremendous coach. And a first down for the Bucks. 58 seconds to go. Terry Smith doing a solid job, doing what he can do. As we take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Nittany Lions.
Doesn't get any easier, as they've got Indiana in State College next week. Indiana, boy, we saw them last week. How impressive is Indiana?
Ooh,
that's a good football team. Michigan State, Nebraska, and Rutgers. And a season that, for the Penn State faithful, they're going to want to forget. Obviously, with all the expectations and the hype surrounding some of these guys coming back, not going to the NFL, thought that they were going to recreate what Michigan was able to do in 2023, Ohio State in 2024, but it just hasn't materialized.
Julian Sayin, big day. 3 incompletions, 4 touchdowns. How about that?
I'd say that's a good day.
15 touchdown passes, no interceptions over his last 5 games. Coach Day, Coach Smith, Ryan Day, and his Buckeyes do it again.
And Gus, maybe for the first time this year, we saw this Ohio State team kind of tested, maybe punched in the mouth a couple of times. And boy, did they come swinging right back out. Stuck that thing in 4th gear, and that was just an impressive, dominant second half from the #1 team in the country.
5th gear could be scary. Let's go downstairs to Jenny.
Well, Coach, there was an urgency I could sense from you starting that second half, and really then there was no looking back. How pleased are you with the finish from your group?
Yeah, like you said, going into halftime, those last 5 minutes were not really good. There was a bad taste in everybody's mouth at halftime. We talk about, when you come into halftime, you're winning, losing, or tied, and then we got to move on. And so we were up by 3 going in. We had to come down and get a quick score there to start the second half. We did that. Then we started playing complimentary football, and I thought the energy was great in the second half.
It's hard to talk anything negative about your receivers, right? Obviously, Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith, 120 yards each today, and you celebrated that Jeremiah Smith catch in the 4th quarter. How impressed are you?
Wow, that was just one heck of a catch. It wasn't exactly how we drew it up, but Julian played his tail off, threw a couple big-time deep balls in the second half, and both Carnell and Jeremiah, got behind them and made some big-time plays. And I think when we have balanced football like that, that's when we're at our best, and still got a lot of football ahead of us.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
All right, Jenny. Julian Sayin, 20 of 23, 316, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Carnell Tate, 5 catches, 124. Jeremiah Smith, 6 catches, 123. 3 touchdowns between them. The final score, 38-14. The Buckeyes continue to roll 8-0. So long from Columbus.